Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time we're reviewing on Shazam, issue number 1. Now, as you know, this issue is meant to feature the first DC comic appearance of Shazam. Now, originally was owned by Fawcett Comics until DC purchased them and eventually got the characters from the Shazam series. And they pretty much placed the pre-crisis Shazam family on Earth S. And this one is meant to tell the origin of how Billy Batson ended up in suspended animation for 20 years. And let's get on the story. It starts off how it introduces Captain Marvel, and we see how Billy Batson meets one of his old friends, who says, "Hello Billy, how's your boy, Billy Batson?" And he points out that he's been missing for 20 years, and that he hasn't aged, and is a little confused. And Billy even remembers back to the day when he first ended up getting his powers, where he met someone at the train station, and eventually ended up meeting the Wizard, who sensed that Billy Batson was pure of heart, and eventually became Captain Marvel. And of course, after the Wizard's job was done, he also points out that he can light the torch whenever he needs him, and even gives him the powers of six legendary heroes. And after that, Billy Batson tells the readers about how he became suspended in animation, where he ends up at the start chasing down two criminals who are obviously working for one of his enemies, and eventually captures them and gives them to the police. And people start to remember that this was Captain Marvel, and that he looks like he hasn't aged a day. So of course it turns out that 20 years ago, Shazam and his teammates were being held as heroes by the mayor. Eventually were taken away with some of Shazam's supporting cast by Dr. Savannah and his children, and of course plans to trap them in a special liquid prison, and unfortunately Dr. Savannah's son whacks him around the head, and they end up crashing into this liquid that ends up suspending them in animation for 20 years. We also see how over time Shazam manages to pull through and eventually calls his name out to save the people in the liquid, and manages to rescue Captain Marvel Jr. and Mary Marvel, with them saying, "What happened? I feel like I had a long nap." And he says that he'll explain later, and that they need to save their friends. Of course, they manage to destroy the liquid, and manage to save some of their supporting cast, like Uncle Dudley, Twinny Tiger, and some of the other ones that obviously were in the sort of liquid. And of course, Captain Marvel tries to locate Dr. Savannah's old hideout, and Dr. Savannah pointing out that he's anxious to get the parts that his henchmen were asked to get. So Georgia says, "Can't you go ahead without the parts, Pop?" "Oh, I suppose so, my dear. Projector won't be 100% efficient." And so, after that, Captain Marvel comes in guns and blazing, and eventually, in a corny, cheesy setting, says, "And I don't think you'll get a suspended sentence." "Ah, smart aleck, is that all you have to say, you big red cheese?" "No, there's one thing. It's great to be alive. Right, Savannahs?" "Right." And yeah, this is the origin to how Captain Marvel was suspended in animation for 20 years. And the issue is actually not too bad. It sort of explains what happened to Captain Marvel, and sort of gives you a different taste in a different ball game. I also kind of feel that, yeah, putting them in suspended animation does work, and pretty much answers the question to what happened to the cast after the end of their run. So the issue deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.